Hello, buddy. Welcome back to Tin Man Score Channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor, and today I'm reading another chapter out of the North Carolina Ghosts and Legends book by Nancy Roberts, and this one's titled The Battle of the Dead, and it takes place in Bentonville, North Carolina. One of the most fascinating possibilities which grips the human mind is the reoccurrence of scenes from the past. There have been stories of midnight rides, romantic trysts, and duels reenacted. Those who claim to have seen these things can describe the appearance and action of the particular participants with amazing detail. Most of the attempts to explain these strange phenomena have been based on the theory of exact duplication of atmospheric conditions. This freak of nature may occur so rarely as to be glimpsed by few mortals, but none has yet ventured to say whether these stories are in the realm of the scientific or the supernatural. Okay, you already sold me on this story. If they can't explain if it's scientific or supernatural, sounds spooky to me. But anyway, let's continue. Jim Weaver, who lived near Smithfield in the early 1900s, never forgot the terrifying events of the night he visited the past. Weaver made no effort to explain it. He simply knew it had happened. He was there, he saw it, and he told the story for the rest of his life. A man of medium height and somewhat slight build, Jim Weaver was a farmer and a miller. Smithfield folk called him the Blue Man. He was subject to a mild form of epilepsy, and nitrate of silver remedy of those days turned its users a bluish color. You see, I heard about this condition because there was this guy that appeared on Oprah, but he also appeared on like Entertainment Tonight. Dr. Oz knows about this condition because they say you should not use nitrate of silver remedy on your skin, like rub it, because then it will turn blue. I'm surprised that won't be the only side effect. Although he worked long and hard, Weaver and his family seemed always in the throes of poverty. He was a quiet, serious fellow, and his only boast was that he had never told a lie. Jim's weakness was his love for hunting. Many a night he and his dog went after the wary possum in the woods of Bentonville, near his home. Late one Saturday night in March, he and an English man named Joe Lewis were walking along through pine trees and thickets when the cicada barks of Weaver's hound rent the night air. The two men knew the dog had tread a possum. Jim Weaver had always felt a man out not to hunt on Sunday. He glanced now, and the moon sinking lower and lower in the sky, he was aware that it was probably already midnight, but there was surely a possum in that tree, and he had to get it. In order to do so, he decided to chop down the small tree where the hound had stationed himself. Grasping his axe, he drew back and struck a resounding blow. As he did so, there came a blinding flash of light from the top of the pine. Badly startled, Jim let his axe drop from his hand and stood paralyzed with fear while one flash after another erupted in the surrounding trees. They illuminated the woods about him, and he could see shadowy, uniformed figures running to and fro, dodging behind trees and stumps. Each carried an old-fashioned rifle. Oh boy, you probably stumbled into a ghostly situation. The spirits of soldiers coming back to reenact the battle that they were fighting in before they died. All at once from behind Weaver came the rush of horses. Gray-clad riders, a ghost cavalry, thundered past. There was the hum of bullets and the crackle of musketry. Men in blue uniforms were running, shouting, shooting from behind the trees and dying in horrible, grotesque positions. From nearby rifle pits, Heavy shot tore through the branches of the trees and ricocheted from their trunks with a vicious snap. Still the two men stood rooted to the spot. Their knees felt weak and their foreheads were beaded with cold perspiration. The woods all around them were full of the sound and fury of battle. Bullets hissed past them like hail and peppered trees and soldiers alike. Then about 10 yards away from them, Jim saw a desperate encounter take place. A Yankee soldier was attempting to wrest the flag of an advancing Confederate from its flag bearer. A second gray-clad figure came up to help defend the standard. The Yankee turned and with a lunge pierced him through with his bayonet. Now the Yankee and the young Confederate soldier with the flag under his arm struggled together. Finally, hatless, his face streaked with the enemy's blood, the flag bearer suffered a knife thrust to his shoulder and fell to the ground. Only a few minutes had probably elapsed before Jim Weaver and Joe Louis began to run. Fear spurred them on while their hearts thudded wildly and their throats ached. They passed the old Harper house in their flight, but they did not pause to watch the balls of fire illuminating the dark sky behind it, nor to marvel at the strange light streaming from the windows. If I was walking in the woods at night and I saw some soldiers like shooting guns and thrusting bayonets at each other, I would have thought it was a reenactment, but why would they be doing it at night? But if you start seeing lights emanating from the woods where these guys are fighting at, then you know it's not real, a ghost of soldiers that died years ago. That's creepy. And then to top it all off, that they're running and they see a house that's got lights shining bright within the house, but also on the backside. I'll be like, what in the world's going on? Is there a fire happening? When they fled in utter exhaustion, they threw themselves flat on the ground near the kitchen house back of Weaver's log cabin. And the Harper house, which is pictured right here, it says it was used as a hospital for both armies. So imagine both Union and Confederate soldiers in the same hospital, but hopefully they put them on different floors so they won't have no arguments with each other. On the night that Jim Weaver and Joe Louis hunted among the old trenches and earthworks of Bentonville, almost 40 years has passed since the blue and gray had fought and died there. It was on this very ground that Joe Johnston sought to prevent Sherman's 60,000 men from joining with Grant. The battle began on Sunday, March 19, 1865. It continued through Tuesday the 21st, with artillery firing, crackling far into the night. Oh yeah, and that was a big, huge thing of betrayal. If a general found out that their men was starting to join the Union side, then they would have no choice but to shoot them down before they merged over with Grant and the Union side. The nearby Harper House was used as a hospital for the wounded, and their screams had shattered and shocked and entreated for several days. Jim Weaver long ago joined Smithfield's Confederate veterans, to whom he told his story of the night he saw the Battle of Bentonville with his own eyes. Believe him or not, as you will, but there was one among those veterans who knew Jim did not lie. Only 17 years old on that night in 1865, he had served as flag bearer for his unit. His left arm still hung useless at his side from the shoulder wound he had received while trying to retain his unit's flag. His older brother had died in an effort to help him. Holy smokes. So he not only saw the ghost of his brother trying to help him from getting attacked, but all that energy caused an image of him being shown getting stabbed because he was trying to protect his flag. Wow. It's an amazing story. That's going to be it for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more book reading content like this. I got one more story out of this book left, and then we'll be done reading out of this one for good. This has been another successful installment of the Tin Man Score channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor, and that's a wrap. Have a nice day.